Hi, we're back again, and as promised, I'm with Craig Tschirpig again from IPS to talk more about self-managed super funds. Now, Craig, you can now utilize borrowings in your self-managed super fund. What's the benefit of that?
Yeah, that's correct. We can use borrowings in self-managed super funds from 2007. The main benefit of that is that it gets us an earlier start into investing in larger assets. Traditionally, when you wanted to buy property in a superannuation fund or a large asset, you had to save up for a long time to get to buy that asset outright. Now with the borrowings, it's the same as well. When we go to buy our first house, we don't always have what the house is worth, but we have the ability to borrow that. So if we want to buy a warehouse or a residential property or something large in our superannuation fund, we can do that sooner rather than later, and we can use the time that it takes to pay that loan off to get the capital appreciation in that asset to work for us, instead of trying to continually save for it and never get there.
Okay, so with our borrowings, what should we be cautious of if we're doing this?
Yeah, anything that involves borrowings always has potential downsides. Obviously, interest rate fluctuations, the valuation of the asset, how much you borrowed, things like that, and what sort of income you can expect from the asset to produce. Because all those things need to be weighed up, and if there's a shortfall in the amount that needs to be repaid to hold on to that asset, that has to be made up via contributions coming into the super fund, or the other assets in the super fund have to make enough money to pay for that. So it's the same as when you need a gear in your own name. It's that fine line of, have I borrowed too much, have my repayments too high, and I have to chip in too much. So as long as you do all the maths and check the calculations on that, then that's the main downside. And obviously the other one is there's a non-recourse element built into self-managed super fund borrowings, which means that we generally need a larger deposit and our interest rate's a little bit higher. But all that shouldn't put you off as long as the asset's a sound investment. If it's a sound investment in its own right, it'll be a sound investment in a self-managed super fund borrowing.
Great. So for our lifestyle members, how can they use the strategy, with trading?
What they can do is actually get a greater exposure to their trades. So what they can do is, instead of trading smaller amounts, they can actually leverage it up and use the power of leverage to maybe execute larger trades less often. So take a position in those good, strong trades rather than just doing lots of little hit and miss ones. So so when you get that signal going on a good trade, you can perhaps use some borrowed funds to just increase your returns on that.
That's great. Now, for our traders at home, what can you share with them a case or a case study you've used the strategy with before?
Yeah, it's the borrowings is probably more suited to commercial warehouse arrangements. So we've had quite a lot of success in getting commercial properties owned in a business with some debt on it transferred to a superannuation fund with no debt on it by using the money in the super fund. So an example of that is if there's a warehouse worth $500,000 with $200,000 worth of debt, and a member has a $200,000 balance in the super fund, what we can actually do is use the $200,000 in the super fund to pay for the asset. We can do what we call an in-specie transfer of the building into the superannuation fund. So all of a sudden our super fund's got a $500,000 asset instead of a $200,000 cash balance, and our member's got no debt on the outside, and we've got the debt trust that effectively services or helps us to do that arrangement by doing that asset transfer. So it's a good strategy for people in business, and I guess with traders you can use the same sort of thing. If we've got a large balance in our own trading name, we can actually transfer that over and do it in our superannuation fund and clear some of our other debts.
Great, thank you so much, Craig. I think you've helped our traders at home and our traders here, of course, on self-managed super funds. Again, if you want some more information, make sure you go to www.ips.com.au, and don't forget to call IPS on Monday, as I said yesterday, and ask for Craig, and he'll help you out with your self-managed super fund. I'll be back again with Omar, who's going through again the deadly mistake that traders make, not sticking to the rules. I'll be back again shortly.